Funding for this program is provided in part by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota.
Our Town, the show about Rochester, learns about a bike rebate program, and we hear about an upcoming theater production at the Rep. We also catch up with Family Promise and learn about what property tax increases mean for the community. All that and so much more coming up next on Our Town, the show about Rochester. Coming to you from 125 Live in Rochester, Minnesota, Our Town. We are joined today by a familiar face. Michael Wojcik is here to fill us in on all we need to know about the new Minnesota e-bike rebate program. Welcome to the hot seat, Michael.
Hey, it's wonderful being back with you, Nicole.
So to kick us off, can you tell us what an e-bike is and what are some of the benefits of an e-bike?
Well, what an e-bike is it's a bicycle that has a motor that assists in the pedaling, and typically what will happen is it allows somebody who might have a hard time going up a hill to more easily do that, or just allows someone to go faster and have a more comfortable ride. And what it's really done, the big benefit is it's expanded the benefits of bicycling to people with disabilities that might not have been otherwise able to do it, and also to folks that are a little bit older, and this provides some assistance getting them around.
Love that, this idea of it having opened up some access. There's some very sleek ones on the market as well, I've seen. This Minnesota e-bike rebate program, can you tell us what it's about and what are some of the eligibility requirements for it?
So the goal here, and this was part of what we call the Bill Dooley Safety Act that our organization helped to pass in 2023, and the idea is the biggest barrier to e-bikes right now tend to be the price of them, and they have come down greatly in price, but there are a number of people that would benefit by having some assistance in purchasing an e-bike. And what this is going to do is a certain amount is set aside for lower income households, but a number of folks are going to have an opportunity to get up to $1,500 back for the purchase of an e-bike, and that can cover between 1/2 and 3/4 the cost of the bike. So it's going to make the price of getting an e-bike a lot more accessible for those who get the rebate.
So you mentioned income a little bit. How is the rebate dependent on income?
Well, for lower income households in the state of Minnesota, there's a certain percentage that's set aside for those households, and those households will qualify for up to $1,500, and it'll pay for 3/4 the cost of a bike. As your income goes up, that goes down. You can still get $1,500 towards the purchase of an e-bike, but it can only cover half the price of the bike then.
Are there other eligibility requirements that individuals should be thinking about?
Yeah, a couple of things that you need to know is you need to be at least 15, which you have to be 15 to ride an e-bike in Minnesota. You have to be a resident of the state last year and this, and you can't be claimed as a dependent on someone else's tax return.
How can community members apply for the program and learn a little bit more, and are there any timelines that we should be aware of?
Yeah, this is the key one, and I think this is why viewers of this program are going to have a little inside edge right now, which is we like that. June 5th is the day that individuals can apply to get the rebate, and that's going to open up at 11 a.m. And I am coaching folks that if they don't have their application in by 11:01 that morning, they may not be getting a rebate. There's only going to be about 1,200 in this first round that are available, so people need to be ready to go. With that in mind, there's information. If you Google the Minnesota e-bike rebate, you'll either find the Bicycle Alliance of Minnesota's website about it or the Minnesota Departments of Revenue. Both will have instructions. Our organization is sending out email updates to remind people. The Department of Revenue is as well. And the key thing to have with you, the one piece of information that you might not know off the top of your head right away is what was your adjusted gross income last year? So have that tax return from last year ready, because that's one of the questions that you have to fill out when you apply for this. And if you get it in right away, you have a much better chance of getting a rebate.
No, that's really helpful, because it sounds like you're going to need to have all that stuff ready to go in the 1 minute after it opens up. Should I know what kind of e-bike I want? Are there things like that I should know?
Yeah, great question. There's so many different options out there, and they're evolving all the time. And what I would say is that try them out. All the dealers, we have a number of great dealers here in Rochester that can help you select an e-bike. There's a number of different kinds, styles. Some of them are actually trikes now, so if you have balance issues, it can help with that. You don't have to know right away. You've got about 2 months to use that rebate, and then after 2 months, it's going to expire and other folks will have a shot at it. But take the time to try some different bikes, talk with the dealers and see what works best for you.
Thanks. You mentioned at the top of our conversation here about how e-bikes were creating more accessibility. Are there other reasons why they've become more popular lately?
Honestly, I think one of the biggest barriers has always been price, and the reality is irrespective of this rebate coming out, the prices have come down quite a bit. The equipment is more reliable, and some of the challenges you have with early technology, there are some spectacular e-bike battery fires that you can find on YouTube. The reality is now there's good quality control metrics in place, the prices have come down, and even if you don't have this rebate, you can go out and get an amazing e-bike for under $1,000, and that just wasn't the case a couple years ago. So as they become more accessible to more folks, more people are using them.
Wonderful. Well, thanks so much for joining us, Michael, and sharing about this rebate program.
Thank you for having me.
Be sure to stick around. We have much more coming your way on Our Town. We hear about a Family Promise event in the community, and we also catch up with the Rep to learn all about their upcoming theater production, Clybourne Park. But up first, we talk property taxes in this week's Our Culture segment.
Wilfredo Roman Catala is Olmsted County's Chief Financial Officer. He's analyzed Olmsted County property taxes. In 2024, a house at the median value in Rochester is worth an estimated $302,000. It might look like one of these.
Using the median, the medium, the middle point, half of the points are lower than that and half of the points are higher than that.
Roman Catala says using the median is better than using an average because you can avoid the impact of outlier property values.
In the city of Rochester, we may have a home that is $3 million and a home that is $150,000. Those values will skew, so you're using the median, the medium, the middle point, that's the value of the median.
For the median estimated market value home in Rochester of about $302,000, the property owner would owe $3,696 for 2024 property taxes. That's 1.22% of the home's value. Your property taxes are directly connected to your home's value. A number of factors cause Rochester home values to rise.
One of them is economic development, right? We know that in Rochester, in Olmsted County, we have the Mayo Clinic, and they are a major factor in that economic development. All those new services, new buildings, they have a significant impact. They bring new residents to the area. There is a shortage of homes. Then we see that they put pressure because there's a lower inventory of homes, a higher increase on demand for the same homes that will increase values.
While Rochester's median home is worth just over $302,000 today, its value has increased by 42%, more than $89,000 just in the last 5 years. During the same period, the property taxes for this home jumped from about $2,800 to about $3,700, an increase of 31%. So, if you're a Rochester homeowner, your property taxes are going up, but not as fast as the value of your home. In the last 5 years, Olmsted County property taxes have increased by 22%. The Rochester School District has increased property taxes by 39% in the same 5-year period, and the City of Rochester property taxes have also increased by 39% in the last 5 years. The combined property tax increase for all three entities in the last 5 years is 35%. Roman Catala says there are two key reasons why your property taxes will continue to increase over time: people and equipment.
Property taxes most likely go up because services are provided by people. From year to year, we see the salaries and benefits go up. We also, in order to provide services, need good equipment, functioning equipment. So we need to provide the staff that we hire with that equipment to provide those services.
So, where does your property tax money go? 39% pays for Rochester City Services, 33% pays for Olmsted County Services, 27% pays for Rochester Public Schools, and 1% pays for housing and redevelopment programs. Roman Katala says if you are concerned that your home valuation is too high, you can talk to someone about it, but you should do it before June 18th.
You can request to have a consultation with an assessor so they can review with you what are the reasons behind that, because eventually at the end of the year when you get the new taxes, it will be too late. June 18th is the deadline to make an appeal and have that conversation with the county assessor's office if you think your property values are misaligned with reality for you.
If you have questions about your property taxes, you can contact the Olmsted County Assessor's Office at 507-328-6000.
For more information about this story and other Our Town features, connect with us on Facebook, Twitter at KSMQ #OurTown, or ksmq.org/OurTown.
Hi, I'm Danielle Tilda with Our Town Spotlight, where we talk about happenings, organizations, events, really cool stuff in Rochester. And here with me today from Family Promise in Rochester is Maureen Muthemba. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
I am so glad to have you. You are working for a worthy cause. Share a little bit about your job and what you do.
I'm Maureen. I'm the operations coordinator at Family Promise. My primary duties are helping with donations, donation drives, and volunteer engagement.
And that is no small task because there are families that come through that have absolutely nothing. So you want to set them up for success and make sure that they are in transitional housing so they can move into permanent housing and also have all the supplies that they need. Can you share a little bit more about an event coming up on June 26th?
Yes, June 26th is our Family Promise Day. It is our 25th anniversary as well, so we're really excited about that. We will have our event free and open to the public from 3 to 6 on the 26th. We will have games, activities, ice cream treats, and a lot of other fun, cool stuff.
And the intention of this event is not only to encourage people to contribute, but it's also to raise awareness of Family Promise in Rochester. Can you share a little bit more about the concept? What is the intention of Family Promise?
So our organization is primarily here to help people who are unhoused find stable housing. We house them from 3 to 6 months, and I'm going to change that. It's not 3 to 6 months.
That's okay.
3 to 4 months.
Yes, yes.
And we help them with case management, help them find resources in the community, and ultimately try and help them find stable housing.
Right, because it's the first initial step, and their support along the way. I mean, they receive life skills classes, things like that to kind of help bridge and lift them up as they go through that. We're very excited for the event. Where is it going to be located?
It's going to be located at our shelter, which is on 1st Street Northwest. You can find the details on our social media or our website.
And the social media is a really good spot to check and see every week what things are needed as far as like diapers, food, things like that that can be dropped off at the house or other locations that you all share there. It also shares other resources and things like that, correct?
That is correct. We keep both our website and our social medias pretty updated. So we have weekly needs that we post on Facebook. We also have volunteer opportunities, whether it's being a part of a committee or just coming to our shelter to help with food donations. It is very up to date, and you can find a lot of information about who we are and what we do on both our website and our social media.
Awesome. I'm excited for the event. I appreciate you. You're a blessing in the community. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. You can find out more details at Family Promise website or on Facebook. This is Danielle Tilda with Our Town Spotlight.
Hello once again, this is Michael Wojcik with your Our Town Legislative Rundown. This is our last rundown of the season, and the session has now been complete, so I thought I'd give a little bit of overview of what passed this year. Overall, the last 2 years have been historic. We saw more significant legislation passing than probably any of us has seen in any session since the Minnesota Miracle. Now, if you look at the ice hockey records, the highest scoring brother combo in NHL history are the Gretzky brothers, Wayne Gretzky and his brother, who scored a total of 4 points. Similarly, this has been a prolific session, but a lot of that was prolific in 2023 and not so much 2024. The reality is there was a lot that did not get done in 2024, including a bonding bill. Another area of bills that did not pass had to do with affordable housing, and there's perhaps nowhere in Minnesota that is more challenged for affordable housing, particularly rental options, than here in southeastern Minnesota. What didn't pass is a bill that would have allowed for missing middle housing, for more multifamily housing, and an end on discrimination against Section 8 vouchers. However, a number of bills did pass, and they will affect us here in Rochester. Probably the most interesting and timely is that the legacy funding bill did pass, and that includes funds for the removal of the Silver Lake Dam. Additionally, more based on Minneapolis, there was legislation that prevented city comprehensive plans from being sued on environmental grounds, and that does not directly affect Rochester, but it does protect the community in the future. Uber and Lyft riders in Rochester will be getting a raise as part of the statewide compromise. And early in the session, there was compromise around school resource officers that specifically identified what they can and can't do and addressed some concerns. That should not be an issue going forward for here or elsewhere. And finally, the state is requiring all school districts to have a cell phone policy. It does not necessarily say what that policy is, but a policy must be in place. This has been Michael Wojcik with your Our Town Legislative Rundown.
Hi, this is Danielle Till with Our Town Walkabout. I'm here with Megan Bakken at Tilda's Pizzeria, and we are checking out some pizza, and I hear there's a robot.
Yes. Her name is Bella. She's a cat, and she joined our team about 2 years ago, and we're happy to have her ever since. She has 4 shelves. She can hold up to 8 10-inch pizzas, 4 14-inch, and you just put in the table number, and she'll go on her own.
So there's a special way you make the pizza, wood-fired.
Yeah.
How long does it take?
So prep time and cooking time in total, it takes about 5 to 7 minutes. But once they go in the oven, it's 90 seconds and they're out. Yeah.
You're kidding me.
It's because of our hot tempered oven. It's about 700 degrees on the stone, and then all the way up to the top is about 900.
So it cooks it very thoroughly, very quickly.
Yeah, very fast.
What are the favorite pizzas here, and share a little bit more about the ambiance?
So our favorite pizzas here are probably the bongo pizza or the classic pie. We're gonna make a classic pie for you. The bongo is the best pizza here probably, with the blackberries, goat cheese, basil, and honey and cracked pepper on top. We have online ordering, we have call-in, and you can come in and enjoy a nice dinner with us, whether you're running errands for a business meeting, joining us for the Mayo Clinic, or you're just a regular coming in to have your favorite pizza.
And just to note that you are open on the evenings and weekends.
Yep, 4 to 9 every day, 7 days a week.
This is Danielle Till with Our Town Walkabout.
We are joined today by Philip Muehe, Managing Director of the Rochester Repertory Theatre. He is here to tell us all about the upcoming production of Clybourne Park. Welcome back to Our Town, Philip.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Clybourne Park is often billed as a sequel to A Raisin in the Sun. Can you tell us a little bit about what it's about?
Yeah, so it's kind of the unofficial sequel to Raisin in the Sun. It's not written by Lorraine Hansberry, but Bruce Norris wrote a comedy that takes place the first act takes place 10 minutes after Raisin in the Sun ends. And there's the character of Carl from Raisin in the Sun. He's in Act 1, and he goes to the family that is selling the house to the younger family at the end of Raisin in the Sun. And then Act 2 takes place in that same house 50 years later. So it explores and expands upon the themes of racism, but then kind of delves into gentrification and real estate racism and how a lot of BIPOC folks have been disenfranchised by so many things in America since, and like everything's changed, but nothing has changed is kind of the crux of the play.
Sure, and what an interesting sort of format in terms of it being a comedy, right? It's not a drama, it's a comedy that sort of unearths some of these issues that you're talking about. Can you tell us a little bit about who's directing the Rep's production and how are rehearsals going?
It's going really well from what I hear. Kathy Keach is directing the play. She's done a lot of stuff in town. She worked at the Civic, and she's done a lot of stuff at Wits End Theater in Chatfield. She's also in charge of the Multidisciplinary Simulation Center at Mayo Clinic, so she's a well-rounded artist, and we're really happy to have her.
For those that don't know, actually, that center is actually responsible for doing a lot of working with a lot of actors and folks that are doing simulation for education, medical training.
Yeah.
The play covers a lot of different themes, as you mentioned. Are you planning any kind of talkbacks or programming just to kind of hold space for some of those discussions and some of those exploration of those themes?
Yeah, we're hoping to have Tim Nella, who is a real estate agent here in town, give a talk back about that whole process and everything. And hopefully you're going to come talk too about something. So.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Raisin in the Sun is such an iconic play, and so you said it was the unofficial sequel to this very iconic play in American theater. In terms of Clybourne Park, can you talk a little bit just about sort of like the critical reception when it first came out? Do you know a little bit about that?
Yeah. So it, like you said, it is very funny. It really seats these like really important social issues with humor, and I think when a good play does that, it makes the subject matter more palatable. So it really does a really good job of making you laugh and making you think in the same instant. But when it came out on Broadway, it won the Tony, and then it won the Pulitzer Prize for drama that year as well. So it was very, very well received, had a big national tour. It's a really, really cool piece.
Is it a big cast, or is it, how small?
It's only 7, so
okay.
Everybody plays 2 characters. There's 14 characters in the show, but you play like 2 different characters per act.
Having been in A Raisin in the Sun, I know that it was one of the historically long plays in American theater. When folks are thinking about coming, how long is this play? How long should they expect to commit to this experience?
It's only 2:15, 2 hours and 15 minutes. So
awesome.
That's including, I think that's not including an intermission. So it'll be 2:30 total, but it's broken up really well.
All right, well, tell us when it opens and how folks can get some tickets.
So we open June 7th and we play till the 23rd. Tickets are available now at rochesterrep.org, and they start at $25.
Awesome. We had you on several months ago because it was the 40th anniversary of the Rep, and now you're back here, and I'd love to hear how the season has gone and what have been some of the highlights.
Man, time just flew by, hasn't it? It's crazy. But this season went really, really well. It's one of our highest attended years ever. We're really getting back to pre-pandemic levels, which is really, really good. The theater's struggling right now, but thankfully we've had a really good group of patrons come out. We had a completely sold out run of Heathers, the musical. That was really cool. We opened with Tick, Tick, Boom, which was really well received and was a play that's not done very often. We had a world premiere of Hamlet, new adaptation of Hamlet that was well received. So it's been a really, really fun year.
Yeah, it seems like it's been a really exciting year, and the sold out production of the Heathers, I know there was a lot of buzz around that as well. As you're thinking about the upcoming season, are there certain things that you're looking forward to? Can we get behind the scenes? Do you have any thoughts about what's going to happen next season?
Yeah, I mean, we're already starting. Season passes are already on sale. If you want to get them on rochesterrep.org, you can get your season tickets. I'll be directing a production of Falsettos, which centers around the AIDS crisis in the late 70s, early 80s. So that's kind of going to be our effort for our DEI show next year. I'm really excited to shed a light on the LGBT community next year.
For sure. Again, I always like to ask you, how can people get involved with the theater in terms of either volunteering or being on stage, behind stage? How can folks just stay involved with what's going on at the Rep?
The best way is to follow us on social media. If you're on Facebook or Instagram, we're the Rochester Rep. Otherwise, you can go to our website and email us. There's a little contact tab, and my email's on there as well. I'd be happy to get anybody involved.
Excellent. I know you mentioned that this was the first season that you're sort of back into pre-pandemic swing. There's also a growing number of theater productions and theater companies in town. And this is a big question, but what are your thoughts just around the future of theater here in Rochester?
I think we have a really cool scene right now, and each theater company kind of fits its own niche. And that's what I really admire about the people running the theaters here, is that they understand their audience and what your theater has to offer. For example, I'm really excited that the Rep is such an intimate space. There's not a performance venue like it in town anywhere else. We could do the exact same shows as some of the other theaters are doing, but it'd be a completely different experience just because the actors are so close and the story is right in your lap. So I'm really excited about where we are as a community.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for sharing, Philip, and I hope to see you on stage
yes.
behind
somewhere.
Somewhere. And thank you for all you do.
Yes, thank you.
And thank you all for joining us today. I hope you learned as much as I did about all that's going on in our city and the wonderful people making it happen. For more content produced right here in Rochester, please be sure to check us out on Facebook and Twitter at #OurTown. I'm Nicole Fenoy-Amhara, host of Our Town, the show about Rochester. We'll see you next time.
Funding for this program is provided in part by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota.